Do you know the definition of insanity? Because I do! I'm sorry. Okay, calm down. Alright, look, I'm in my happy place. I hit King of Games this month. Yes, it's the last day of the month. Yes, I'm uploading the video on the same day. I got on a generational win streak with this deck, right? I went 19-0 before losing to my own idiocracy type shit. God bless. So, what the fuck? Okay. So this is the deck list, right? 2 chambers, 1 low par, 1 Tinkerhack, 1 kitchen, 1 parlor, 1 Ernest, 1 new Duel, 1 laundry, 1 nurse, 1 droplet, 1 hospitality, 1 changeover, 1 welcome, 3 crackdown. That's my secret sauce. 1 downtime, 2 tidings, 1 SHEOU. Let me remove the cards that I never summoned. 3 house Dragonmaids, 1 nightmare unicorn, and 1 phoenix. So on that generational win streak, I never summoned El Shaddai Construct. This card's only in the deck for Chronicle rarities. Dingirsu or Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. You don't need these cards. I never summoned them. Truth be told, right? You only need I mean, you could run house at 2, but I'd recommend 3. Always run 3 because you never know when you get burned out. So that's it for the deck list. On to some replays. Yippee! Honestly, I've been so like unenthused to play this game. Sorry, just a little bit of a gunk in the throat. I don't think I'm gonna talk over most of the replays, but I'm gonna talk over the first couple ones. So I perfectly understand that it is the end of the month and these may not be the best duelist. Okay, let's just examine this first gameplay. So here I'm going up against Solomon Moto, playing, well, what is that, Dragunity? Yeah, Dragunity. So he's gonna be like, ah ha ha ha, I am the Dragunity, Divine Lance! And then he's gonna try to molest me, right? And unfortunately for him, I don't think he played this turn right. So he might not have had the best hand. I don't know how this deck works. Am I ever gonna see this deck ever again? Probably not. I'm probably gonna go fight heroes and Salamangreats for another 17 fucking times in a row. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna quit duelings. Rush Duel is great though. Okay, I'm enjoying insects. They're awesome. Awesome deck. Awesome deck. Very awesome. Very demure. Very mindful. See, this is why I say like this guy messed up, right? Because instead of summoning Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, he summoned this dude, and like I have never seen that. And I understand that he wants to make this guy who's like a negate. But like, I can just thug it out. Because Dragonmaid Changeover, the fusion effect is not once per turn. So even though he can negate my guy and try to banish him, I can just keep adding cards to my hand. Ho ho ho. I'm not gonna hold you, Dragonmaids feels like a very powerful deck. It's just missing something, you know? It's missing something. I don't know what that something is, but it's probably just a skill that adds 13 cards to your hand. This deck is a lot better going second, to be fair. Look. I like the first effect of the skill for Dragonmaids, okay? It feels very fair. The second part of the effect, which is the going second bonus, I feel like that's too much, okay? That's like asking for too much. If it was just add one of the level 7 or higher Dragonmaids to your hand, that would be better. Not really the best, but it would be better. So here's a win 11. I did clip these on random points. I think it's just because it's a Draconic Contact player. He might have been ranking up to King of Games. I'm not sure. It's one of these guys that was. So as you can see here, I'm putting complete dire constraints, right? My opponent whips out the Neos Fusion. He doesn't draw 17 cards because he's not the best hero player, of course. Why would he be? So there he goes. Yep. Chalice. Oh no! I'll activate my downtime. Super Poly. What? I'm not gonna lie, this dude is crazy for super polying that. Like, that's wild. Like, you just completely got rid of the purpose of your Chalice. but with a little bit of hospitality and a little bit of luck with Laundry Dragonmaid milling tidying, I was able to come back and create my strongest monster, I guess. And now next turn I can get some bonus cards. Now here's a little synergy I want to talk about with Crackdown and Droplet. I would recommend running 2 droplets, but I only ran 1 for some reason. I never looked at the deck list, but you can crack down your monster, right? Crack down a monster. Now you have 2 droplet like sacks to do. So you got a monster and a trap. So the only other thing you would need is a spell to make it completely unreactable to. And Changeover is a free spell you can get almost every turn. And my opponent just gave up because Draconic Contact wasn't enough apparently. It's not enough. You solid brothers left. Type like beans. Like beans, yep, like beans. Mustard, A minor. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. I'm sorry, I know Joseph hates that. That's why I hate that. If you don't know who Joseph is, you don't go to the live streams. That's okay. This is the final win of the whole fiasco, I guess. Yeah. That's how you do it. You aura diff your opponent. I just use like hockey on him. So I'm going through these pretty quick because there's a lot of replays and I don't know if I'm gonna show all of them. I probably won't, but just know that well, if you can get started right with Dragonmaids, if you can get the momentum going. Oh, this is the one I lost. I want to talk about this one, right? The weird thing is, right, it says current win streak 20, but it only displays 19 right here, right? My opponent does a pretty standard Draconic Contact super fair combo, right? So he's gonna end up just top decking the Stratos. He's gonna draw 2 cards here, or 3 cards. He's gonna draw 3 cards on top of his +3. So he's going +6, and then he gets even more cards, and then he gets even more cards. Triple set back row, 3 boss monsters, 4 boss monsters, my fault. The one advantage I do have in this exact situation, right? He only has 1 card in the hand. That means he can only target destroy 1 card or super poly. So I use my skill to put down my trap. And then I'm like, alright, let me chill out. This dude decides to use his Armed Dragon level 10 ability. So he no longer has super poly and he activated it way too early. So this should be a done deal for me. I should have won this. Unfortunately, my brain stopped working. Now, if it was any deck, I think I would just lose. But the point is, I made a mistake. I didn't even set my Crackdown. Like, that's crazy. Like, what am I doing, bro? What am I on right now? I get my house. Destroy, destroy. Destroy, destroy, destroy. And, well, you know, life's a bitch, and then you die. So, you know, he calls in another Stratos. Thankfully, right, when this gets hit, he won't be able to do that anymore. So that's not that bad. And yeah, he's gonna get a free Armed Dragon level 10. Very fair. Thank you, Konami. And I'm done for. Goodbye. Oh wait, on top of all of that, right, he had a set Neos fusion. So he can Rainbow Neos my whole graveyard, and now I can't do anything. To be absolutely fair, if I had set Crackdown, I would have more plays. To be absolutely fair to myself. Like I said, my brain stopped working. That's why I lost the win streak to Chris. Shout out to him, I guess. Actually, anti-shout out to him. He's an op, 100%. I'm sending all my enemies towards him because how dare you play elemental heroes in that disgusting way. Like, I hate the fact that Draconic Contact is hurting. There's like a dad that plays heroes but like the regular way, and I feel so bad for him because he plays them the normal way. He plays with vision heroes and stuff, with the extra wonder hero, whatever the link monster is called. He plays it with that and he wins, bro. Like, he's good at what he does. All right. So here my opponent summons Dante, the Forbidden One. I'm like, oh no, not Dante, the Forbidden One. Fortunately for me, I was able to win. Yep. Spoilers. Okay, no. I guess the main takeaway from this duel is that Dragonmaids tidy or downtime, right, is a very effective card at removing overlay control as a factor. But I tried to shuffle his Torn Scales back into his grave, but unfortunately that didn't work out for me. And one other cool synergy with Forbidden Droplet, right? You can send Dragonmaid's Welcome, which once it's sent to the graveyard, which you could do with Parlor as well. All your Dragonmaids are untargetable, which is really hard to deal with for most decks. There's a lot of SHEOU LeBlancs that I ended up going up against during this win streak. They couldn't beat me because they couldn't activate their whatever SHEOU LeBlanc's ace card is. The level 8 sorcerer guy who destroys cards on both sides of the field. He had to destroy both cards on his field and he just instantly surrendered after that. And that's really valuable for preserving your Omni Negate because you have to kind of have ball knowledge on your opponents, right? I'm sorry if I'm yapping over the replays, but that dude just ended up altering. He is a cool deck though. Phantom Knight's Burning Abyss. That's kind of cool. So yeah, you want to preserve that Omni Negate for their vital plays. Like I said, these are not the best players, okay? It's the end of the month. I'm surprised I even got this generational win streak. I was just kind of dilly-dallying. I was not locked in. I was definitely geeked up. Look at Leo's face. That's how I look like in real life playing this deck. So he's going to do this Infernoble Gemini super awesome combo. I love this deck, by the way. This deck is one of my favorite decks because Geminis are buns, bro. Like, they're complete buns. They need a skill like this. And they're kind of decently overpowered, but like, what deck adds double summon to your hand in Gemini Spark? They're good cards, okay? I'm not saying they're bad cards. I'm just saying, like, Geminis are buns. Yes, I know they rely on that guy, Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. He's like the best guy ever. But genuinely speaking, right, I feel like even with this incredible support, it might still be buns. But like, hold on, right before I activate changeover, right? My brother summons Great Shogun Shien. Dude, this guy limits you to 1 spell and trap each turn. That's tough to deal with. Because I'm pretty sure with this specific hand, I can get, right, with this specific hand, I can get a House Dragonmaid on top of it because I still have changeover. So since my opponent activates Infernoble Knight, Emperor Charles, and he has 0 protection, I'm not sure why he activated the effect, but that's the King of Games difference, right? You just gotta know. I just cracked down his Shien because, right, I'm locked to 1 spell and trap, so if I take him, his effects are now negated. Are they negated? While you control that monster, it cannot attack or activate its effects. So actually, my opponent is locked into 1 spell and trap card per turn. That's insane. That's crazy. And I could just droplet both of them away and negate both of his cards. And now since I'm not locked, I can actually just diddle him. That's crazy. I'm just looking at this replay back. That's crazy. This man got violated, unfortunately. Now, I never looked up any guides on how to play Dragonmaid, so if I do misplay, that's probably why. I just picked up the deck and started playing it. It was pretty fun. Like, I would play Speedroids, but like, that's so much investment, right? You have to like do all those synchro summons, and I did do it a lot in the past. But like, I am not putting that much effort in when my opponents can literally just spawn in Armed Dragon level 10. And well, if I don't have the best hand, I can't have Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. And like, that just sucks to play. So I'm not gonna play that game. So here's Double House Dragonmaid just obliterating Gemini guy. My bad that I've laughed like a absolute clown. But just know that I appreciate you and your time, you know? So Sherry LeBlanc number 2. Low key, I'm thinking about making Rev Des Fleur. I think this is after I lost. I'm thinking about making Rev Des Fleur because I have 2 UR Dream tickets, and like you could just make Rev Des Fleur with just 2 of them. You don't need the 3rd one. Cool for consistency. I'm just thinking about it because there's so many decks you can make with Rev Des Fleur, and I kind of like the Alistair the Invoker archetype. It looks pretty cool, and you could just mix in Synchros and Exceed. I just don't understand why. But if there was a deck that I would make, it'd be Rev Des Fleur, because I don't think there's that deck's getting hit. I don't believe it is. Do I think it's dumb that your opponent can just like summon an Omni Negate? Ha ha ha. It's limited to 1, okay? That's all that matters. And that's when my opponent realized that Dragonmaids welcome. This card right here, right? It lists it right here. Your opponent cannot target Dragonmaid monsters you control with card effects this turn if this card is sent to the graveyard. And Parlor sent it to the graveyard from the deck. He's cooked. There's nothing he could do. And that's tragic, you know? I'm sorry to do it to him, but I mean, I didn't even know he had that card in his hand. I just kind of did that because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it at one time. I'm not gonna hold you. Droplet and Chalice are one of your banes, okay? Same thing with Book of Eclipse. Duel. They're rough for you. Here I activate my super awesome skill, and I activate all of my awesome skills. I'm just waffling. Don't worry about me. So I put Ernest back in my hand. Now, the reason I put Ernest back in my hand is if I can get another Dragonmaid in my hand, I could special summon it with this. So my opponent attempts to Cosmic Cyclone me, so I'm like, oh shit! Right? He's gonna go after my Crackdown, and Armed Dragon level 10 already destroys me, so I'm just gonna use Shield's effect to cancel it. Instead of Cosmicking the same card, he goes after Changeover. Now here's the kicker. This is why I play 2 Changeover, right? That's the reason I have one of them Chronicle stamped, and the other one is not Chronicle stamped. Because I want to confuse my opponent. If they see this guy with a stamp, they're going to be like, oh, hell yeah. That's the only card they got. Yep, I'm going to get that one. God bless. Praise be. Amen. Summon House Dragonmaid, summon Nurse, summon everybody. Ha 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 ha. I am untargetable. That doesn't help you, by the way. Being untargetable doesn't help you. And something that I had just realized when I did this is that all my zones are clogged. I can't crack down. So I put my 2 hands together, looked up to the sky and prayed to the Lord, please do not have another hero monster. And he discarded Polymerization, so I'm like, oh, I'm safe. So it was a good day for me. I summon Nurse, I get molested, unfortunately. Effect Veiler is a very powerful card, and he's able to defeat me. So again, I put my 2 hands together, clasp my cheeks, pray that he does not have the card he needs to destroy my booty hole. Fortunately for me, right, even with Super Poly, I could still summon Nurse Dragonmaid and go on with this. But I make a horrible mistake, right? I don't think he has the Wind attribute fusion monster in his extra deck because he didn't even try. He didn't even try to Super Poly away anything. Actually, wait a minute. I had an Earth and a Dark, so that means he didn't have an Earth or a Dark. I just cracked down his guy because he could just destroy me. Nightmare Phoenix! This is the only time I summoned a Link monster. Effect Veiler! Oh no! No, that might have been one of the reasons he didn't Super Volley, but I still don't see that being a valid reason. And he super... Actually, too much yapping, right? Putting my finger over my lip. Too much yapping. He had set the Super Poly already. So he doesn't have it. He can't activate it. So because I have no cards left, I Dragonmaid's downtime. I set the card for my deck. Then I draw a billion cards because you cannot fool me. And then my opponent falls. Be gone, knave. I'm sorry. I despise Draconic Contact. I respect all the hero players. Alright, hold on, let me get the other replays. Okay, so I definitely could have recorded more. I know I said I wouldn't yap as much, but I am. Sorry. Ha 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 ha. I am actually sorry. I know some people enjoy no yap content, but like I want to yap. You do not understand, right? The amount of hatred I have in my bones for Elemental Hero Draconic Contact version. You do not understand how every fiber in my being burns when I see that deck. Okay? So, pretty standard Dragonmaid combo. I get lucky, okay? I have downtime in my hand. I will admit to that. I am a lucky man. My opponent has overlay control, and I thought he was playing Gunkin chips because a lot of people play Gunkin chips. Lo and behold, he's playing Lunalights, an old favorite of mine. Unfortunately, the deck is not that great. It's more used as an Xyz engine than it is used as a fusion deck, which is what it's made for, man. Summons Castel, the Sky Blaster, and he tries to blast my skies open. Fortunately, I cannot let him do that. Now, I didn't know what deck I was going up against, so I sent Tiding instead of Dragonmaid's Welcome. Dragonmaid's Welcome would have helped me. Like go into a second Xyz monster, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist. Now, in my opinion, right, he probably doesn't know what Dragonmaids do. Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon is a really powerful play against this deck, right? Against my deck. Because I am unable to deal with it. I'm not able to out it, at least right away. Because I have the only way I could out it, right? I only have a couple outs. Droplet, Crackdown, which are all like generic cards. I can't search these cards, right? That's the problem. Either Crackdown, Droplet, Unicorn, right, which costs 3 monsters to make, Dingirsu, which I've never summoned outside of that point, or my Tiding. Hello? In my Tiding, right? Lets me return one of his monsters to the extra deck. That's kind of my only choices. And well, I did end up drawing the Droplet, so I guess it wouldn't have worked. But I also drew the Welcome, so also got the Welcome off of Chamber. I guess you know, it's all as well that ends well. Yeah, you already know. So I proceed to lay the beat down on him. And my boy activates Battling Boxer Veiler, bro. Ain't no way. That's an old card. Haven't seen that guy in a while. My opponent doesn't have Kaleido Chick. He can't really do anything. And downtime returns overlay control, which stops him from Xyz summoning. That's a pretty tough matchup, man. I feel... What the hell was that? Oh. That was Venom. I'm sorry. I opened up a comment. My bad. You already know. So like you gotta understand, right, that this is not actually how this deck plays, okay? This is just end of the month shenanigans. Tomfoolery, you may even call it. Would I recommend you try this? Dragonmaids, yeah, they're decent fun. Effect Veiler's your worst nightmare, and Salamangreats love that stuff. I'm still up on them. I'm not down on them. I think I've been beaten once, but other than that, I've beaten Salamangreats every single time because this deck has so much grind game. That's the word. Now here I go up against Nekroz. I don't know how this deck works. This is definitely one of the decks I want to make in the future because it's in a deck building box and those are really easy to get. Now I probably will move to Master Duel content, mainly just me playing Elemental Heroes because I love Elemental Heroes. That's why the abomination that is Draconic Contact absolutely hurts my soul, right? My opponent is playing Nekroz. The most dangerous thing he could do, right, is summon this guy Nekroz Trishula. And this dude, right, he can banish 3 cards on my field, hand, and graveyard. And I'm not sure why he couldn't activate it, but he chose not to activate it, I'm guessing, for some strange reason. I'm not sure why. Now, I don't know if it's because Kaleidoscope doesn't actually count as a ritual summon, but it might not have been a ritual summon. I just decided to obliterate his Trishula because I don't like it standing there. And that's how that ends. And honestly, he did put up a decent fight. He had the right card in his hand to defend himself if I didn't have a negate, but I do have a negate I make every turn. So that's unfortunate for him. In case you don't know, Nekroz Valkyrius, right? You can stop the battle phase by discarding another Nekroz card or banishing one from your graveyard. I'm not too familiar with it. I just know they can end your battle phase. So realistically speaking, right, if my win streak kept going, it would have stopped at a certain point, right? A certain duelist I went up against. So here I am in a mirror match, right? Mirror match, Maids downtime. Now this deck is fairly cheap, fairly. All the cards are from one box, mainly outside of the tech cards. So if you did want to make this deck, I'd recommend it. Not as expensive as some of the other decks. And yeah, type shit. So here I am with my Omni Negate and my House Dragonmaid. This is a really good board, right? Really good end board. Got Crackdown, got SHEOU, got House Dragonmaid. He Book of Eclipses me. If I don't do anything, this is gonna suck balls. So I just decide to obliterate Book of Eclipse. My boy activates the second one. God damn. Alright, whatever. I decide to lock into it, you know, Mug. Now, could I have done better? Absolutely. But I needed to check for an interaction. And that's what does Crackdown do? Chamber once it's been targeted by Dragonmaid's downtime. Does it still return it to hand? Let's find out. The answer was yes. Now I have no interruptions and he's gonna have 2 full Dragonmaid cards he can activate. And this is almost unwinnable, so I scoop. That's where my win streak would have ended, at 22. Now, did my opponent luck out and draw 2 Book of Eclipses? Absolutely. But you know, after going for that long, I don't think it's like too unheard of. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose some games. It's not the end of the world. That's why I'm surprised I even got 19. Or 20, it was 20. I don't care what the game says, that was 20 wins.
Duel.
So here I am in another mirror matchup. This is like an alternate reality, right? Alternate reality where my opponent isn't as fortunate. And I go first. That's the more fortunate part. And I top deck Tiding and I send Parlor. That's super lucky. Miro summon house. And with my house, I can build a house. My opponent gives up. Because that's really hard in a mirror match to win. So there's roughly 3 replays left until we get to the king, or there's 2 replays left before the King of Games one. I did face 3 Jadens on the way up. These guys were not the best Jadens. Look at their resume, right? This dude was Silver 2 last season, but he's Legends 5 this season because he's getting hard carried by this deck. He might be Legends 5. One of them was Legends 5.
Duel.
But like, I just think that's crazy, man. Like, I don't think that's cool. Not very demure, not very mindful, very suspicious, very evil. You see my SHEOU has the more broken effect because cool. My opponent Mystical Space Typhoons me, I'm like, hell no. I'd rather have my Crackdown than not have my Crackdown. Simply said, it's an awesome card. So here my opponent activates Stratos, right? He's gonna add a hero card to his hand. And he adds Neos. So now he has to send one of the warrior monsters in his hand in order to summon one of these guys. And that's good for me, because if he doesn't have another warrior monster in his hand, he can't polymerization into Shining Sunrise. So that's really good for me. So I ended up drop leading his Armed Dragon, and that makes it so I can survive. At least for a little bit longer. My opponent's gonna draw more cards. This is awesome, right? He top decks Neo Fusion. That is really bad. I'm in really bad shape now. And one thing I also forgot to do right is send my Dragonmaids Tiding, so I can't special summon anything from the grave. But he didn't summon Rainbow Dragon because he sent Rainbow Dragon at the start. See? You might call it luck. I call it I'm Skibbity Sigma. Like, this is ridiculous, right? Like, this is turn 2, I have 5 cards in my hand, 1 on the field. Like, that's ridiculous. Still have change over in the grave. So here I go to return one of his spell and traps, and he just pops one. Because he's terrified. I fusion summon into my SHEOU. He super polys it. That's a smart move. Smart move. A Hospitality Nurse summons Chamber respawns SHEOU. And well, he's done for. And good night. And he activates his E emergency call. To try to activate Stratos to do something. You know, he was this close, right? He was this close to defeating me. Unfortunately for him, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Oh, by the way, he lost to the time limit. I wonder if that was why he lost. I would do the Flightreacts laugh, but I have no idea how he does that. I'm Daniel. That was my best attempt. Respectfully, I tried my best, and you know, I think that's all we can ask for. So here goes another real hero player, right? There's a real guy out here, out on the streets.
Duel.
I draw Crackdown again. Awesome card, by the way. I love Crackdown. Crackdown is a great card. And unfortunately, I did top deck Airness, but you know, it is what it is. I could have sent it with Hospitality already, so it could have been any other card, and I would have seen results. You see here, I have a pretty solid board. You know, I have an Omni Negate, 2 monsters that do something on their own. And by my own mistake, right, I forgot to set changeover, so he didn't have the option to make a mistake on which set card to destroy. But my opponent is a silly little goober in normal summon Stratos and gets negated and loses out on 2 cards. So now he's down a lot. And instead of going into Armed Dragon level 10, he just goes for a super poly play. So I have Airness to protect me for a little bit. Summon SHEOU to interact with whatever spell trap that is. And I build my board back up. This is bad news for my opponent. Now, should I have used that there? I don't think so, actually, looking at this back. Because knowing heroes, Kiteroid would have done horrible things to me. But he ended up losing anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Granted, with the new ban list, they won't be able to run Kiteroids and stuff. I think Salamangrates, right? I think Salamangrates are hurt by the limit 1, but I think Salamangrates, the skill needs to get it. Just make it like Predaplants, where you have to reveal 2 Salamangrate cards in your hand, because I'm tired of having these guys whip out 5 hand traps and then sending any card in their hand and just getting 3 Salamangrates. Like, are they playing Salamangrates, or are they just getting Salamangrates from the skill? Yes, I know they brick. Yes, I know I've pretty much never lost to Salamangrate outside of Dragonmaid. Which, when I'm locked in, I only play Dragonmaids because, unfortunately, my babies, the Speedroids, they're not as good as they used to be. Everything's moving too fast. Here my opponent Lightning Vortex into Chalice. Very unfortunate. Just obliterates my whole field. And he's playing a really cool Preformage deck. Now, one thing I will tell you right now, I think in one of my previous King of Games replays videos, I go up against pretty much this same deck, but with like the worst version of this. So he actually does a lot of these moves here. Right? Yeah, he summons Trapeze Magician, which is his ace monster. It looks pretty cool. You know, he's a freaky looking clown. Maybe he doesn't look that cool actually. And he's trying to like blow me out, blow my cheeks out. So Chamber will just revive SHEOU. And now he just has to sit there and take it like a good boy. Just look at my hand. This is absurd. The thing is, right, this isn't even the skill giving the deck this, like giving Dragonmaids this power. This is just like their recursion, I guess that's the word. They can get a lot of cards back in their hand. And my opponent, unfortunately, had to be at the other end of that. And I'm guessing this is one of the reasons why Dragonmaids are really good in Master Duel. I'd never played during that era. Tri-Brigades are also really good as well. Unfortunately, they're like way more inconsistent than this deck because they don't have a skill. And I mean, even without the skill, they're still pretty consistent. I just got my second Fractal, so that's pretty awesome. I kind of want to play the Lyrialus variant, but not yet, I guess. So there goes my opponent. That's how I hit King of Games for another consecutive season. There probably will be limited editing. I'm not going to edit this, John, actually. Thank you for watching. If you watched it to the end, you're a psychopath, but thank you. Let me show the deck list again, in case you need to see it again. One thing I will mention, right? Related cards. In this card artwork, right? Dragonmaid Hospitality. Look at how tall House Dragonmaid is. Mama. I'm sorry. Okay, calm down. It's not that deep. Dragonmaid Send-Off, right? This is a decent card. Okay, decent. But what's the height and discrepancy, man? What's the height discrepancy? Look at this, and then look at this. Okay, I'm saying that like they don't have like full or half dragon. I don't understand this archetype, the lore and whatever. I don't think there's any lore actually. They're just dragon maids. Look, they're a very powerful archetype. That's why I use them. Yes, that's the only reason I use them. That's not true. I have other interpolations. Will I probably try Crystal Beast next season? Most likely, because I dropped $1. Literally, I dropped $2 and I got a copy of this guy because they were doing a UR deal. I was like, hell yeah. I only had an emergency call, and like, I love heroes, okay? I saw the abomination that was Draconic Contact, and it left a disgusting taste in my mouth. I haven't even tried the deck, like realistically. Now, I'm playing heroes on Master Duel because they're so cool, they're so awesome. I love Evil Hero Malicious Bane. Have you heard my brother crash out in the background? It is what it is. Like I said, I want to try out Crystal Beast next season probably. But I wanted to put Dragonmaids in one of my elite decks because so far, right, the decks that I do have that I would consider elite are, well, I guess Crystal Beast is not elite yet because I haven't like KC Cup 20 like with Shaddolls, right? I've KC Cup 20'd with Shaddolls. I wish I had a full list of my elite decks. It's like not all, like they're not on the Chronicle tier list. But I guess let's just go down. Clear Wing, Crystal Wing. My favorite deck in the entire game. I do not care. That deck is amazing. I love it. You just blow up your entire enemy field and you just look at them and just smile at them. So it would be Shaddolls, right? Dragonmaids now, Crystal Wing, Predaplants, Shaddolls, and True Draco. Surprisingly, I'd consider True Draco one of my elite decks.
Not time for combat.
This shit is just amazing to play. Now, I can't wait for the day where this is not limit 3 anymore. The Forbidden Ban list is unlimiting it, thank you. I don't know why it was limited on release. I guess because it's an R card and we hate R cards. Same thing with Magispector. I do not like, why is this card limit 1, bro? Like, this deck is not good. Like, you could let it slide, man. Like, maybe when we get the other cards that are in the deck, but like the strongest card in the deck is Bunbuku. Like, dog, we are not soloing anybody with Bunbuku, bro. Like, your highest attack monster is 1900. Anyways, right? That was the Dragonmaid deck. Thank you for watching. Don't blow up your neighbor's house or something. I don't fucking know. I don't have an outro. Good night.